Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, I'm going to let you know how you can get over 1,000 VR games for free or for just a few bucks a month. There's some absolutely amazing deals out there, and it doesn't matter if you're on PCVR, Quest, or the Pico, today's video has you covered. These games will come from everywhere from subscription services, third-party app stores like SideQuest, Steam, Quest, and Pico's official stores, and finally from the VR mod scene. Now, if you're currently playing any free VR games, I want to hear what they are down in the comments right now. There are, of course, links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. They currently make my favorite Quest 2 Elite strap, which comes in multiple different versions. You can add an extra battery pack, high-quality headphones, or even both. They also have other products like Valve Index-style hand straps, and they just introduced a brand new RGB stand. Your controllers and headset magnetically connect. There's a charging indicator so you'll know when your headset's ready to go. And there's plenty of different RGB color options available. There's a link to Kiwi Design down in the description. And don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so today's video will be in ascending order of just how great the deals actually are. To get things started, I'm just going to recommend my Discord channel because all active members are entered into a monthly giveaway, and I'm constantly dropping some additional keys. But trying to randomly win some free titles is definitely not the best way to get some cheap games, so let's move on to our first subscription service, MetaQuest Plus. Recently announced for $8 a month or $60 a year, you'll gain access to 2 new games every single month. Now, unfortunately, you have no options here, and the titles are curated by Meta themselves. Now, luckily, it doesn't look like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but instead giving you some high-quality games that are worth the price, as July features Pixel Rip 1995 and Pistol Whip, 2 excellent titles, and August doesn't disappoint either with both Mother Gunship Forged and Walkabout Mini Golf. So if you are a huge fan of the Quest, like to experience a lot of different games, and you're on a budget, MetaQuest Plus is a great option for you, but there's better deals later in this video. I'm really curious though, are any of you guys planning to sign up for MetaQuest Plus? Please let me know down in the comments. Now, if you're a PCVR gamer, we have the classic subscription service Viveport for $12.99 monthly, or at the discounted rate of $8.99 if you sign up for the entire year. You'll gain access to over 1,000 VR titles. Now, you might be thinking this is a library of nothing but crap, but I'm happy to report major VR titles are included from Viveport. You can get amazing games like After the Fall, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Wanderer, Into the Radius, Vertigo Remastered, Walkabout Mini Golf, and many, many more. Honestly, if there's a PCVR game that you ever wanted to try, odds are it's available from Viveport Infinity. This deal cannot be understated, and I highly recommend every PCVR player checks this out. There's a 14-day free trial, so there's really nothing to lose here, so go sign up right now and thank me later. But I did mention this video would have tons of free games, and that's why we're moving on to our first third-party app store, itch.io. I'd recommend this site for the extra curious out there. They currently have over 6,000 titles tagged for VR, the majority of which are free and available on both Quest and PCVR. I will say though that itch.io is a bit of a dumping ground. You'll have to deal with a lot of searching to find anything good, and the installation instructions will vary per game. So that's why instead of itch.io, it's a lot easier for me to recommend SideQuest. SideQuest was designed as a third-party app store for developers struggling to get their games on Meta's official storefront. The site has evolved a lot since then, and offers applications for not only the Quest, but also Pico, Magic Leap, the Go, and streaming WebXR. It even connects back to Meta's own App Lab for one-click downloadable games that are not officially on Meta's storefront just yet. Now, when using this site for your Quest, it does require a little bit of extra work, and you'll most likely have to spend a little time searching for higher quality titles, but overall SideQuest is an excellent stop for free games. Many official titles got their start here, and you don't want to sleep on this website. Now, another great option for some free VR games is the flat to VR mod scene. I am stretching that free term a bit because many of these titles will require you to own the flat screen version, but at the same time, re-experiencing many of these games in VR feels like a brand new experience. I currently have a video up that I'll link to, which goes into detail and rates 30 of the best VR mods currently available. Now, this video is a bit out of date and I am planning a refresher, but in the meantime, it's still definitely worth checking out. But if you want to know what the latest mods are, just go ahead and Google flat to VR. My personal favorites include the VR mods for Half-Life 1 and 2. Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, and 8 are worth checking out, especially if you don't have access to PlayStation VR. and there's plenty of other great experiences from classic titles like Quake, all the way to modern day games like Street Fighter 6. The VR mod scene absolutely took off last year, and I know plenty of people who only play VR mods at this point. But let's move on to some absolutely free games that are definitely worth checking out. Steam, the Quest Store, and the Pico Store all have free options, but they can be populated with a lot of crap. Luckily for you guys, I curated a list with 50 of the best free games. I will once again link to that video, but for now, let's go over my favorite free titles. For the shooter fans out there, we have Pavlov's Shack, which is basically a Counter-Strike clone. The Shack version is only available on the Quest 2 and doesn't have all the same options that you can find on the PlayStation and PC version, but it's still absolutely worth playing. If you want something a little bit more new-aged, we have the fast-paced arena shooter Hyper Dash. I was in love with this game for quite some time, and you could tell it was built from the ground up for VR. Now, if you're looking for a short but absolutely excellent wave shooter, we have Propagation VR. It's creepy as hell, the graphics are excellent, and if you really love it, there's a paid co-op mode. Continuing with the horror theme, I highly recommend Shattered Lights. It utilizes full room scale and has you descending through an elevator, so you'll constantly be walking circles around your room but not even know it. It's also highly immersive with a truly creepy environment. For those looking for a one-on-one competition, I highly recommend Blast On, a truly unique shooter with tons of strategy and plenty of physical activity. But if you'd rather just outthink your opponent, I recommend the trading card game Cards and Tankards. This title has a great social environment, it's a blast to grow your deck and try out new strategies, and even when I'm losing, I still enjoy this game. Now, a title that I was amazed to see go free was the story-driven stealth adventure Republic. It's from the same studio that gave us Iron Man VR, and this is a full-fledged game. So if you're a fan of stealth titles or a deep storyline, I highly recommend you check out this game. If you're more of an MMO survival fan, A Township Tale is still free for PCVR. It's pretty insane how much time you could spend in this title, as it focuses primarily on resource gathering and item crafting. In many ways, it does feel like an MMO, but it's really much more of an MMO light, as it only has some of the components, and you won't be interacting with large crowds of people. But if you do want to interact with plenty of people, basically all of the VR social apps are free on every platform. This includes VR Chat, Neos VR, and Rec Room. Honestly, if you've never tried these, I highly recommend them. They're definitely not my style, and I fell in love with all three of those applications. VR Chat has some truly amazing communities, Rec Room has plenty of fun games to experience, and the things you could do in Neos VR are just mind-blowing. But if you want to keep it a bit more simple, I recommend every PCVR player tries the Lab. These are mini games designed by Valve to show off VR, and they're all absolutely fantastic. If you're new to VR or showcasing it to someone for the first time, there's almost no better option out there than the Lab. And obviously, VR goes beyond just gaming, so I recommend you set up your own personal theater with applications like Big Screen, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. But another application you shouldn't sleep on is Google Earth VR. I can't explain why, but it's just absolutely wild, traveling all over the world through a VR perspective. Now that right there was today's video letting you know how you can get plenty of games for either free or just a few bucks a month, but I'm curious to hear what your experience has been. Do you use any of these services, and which one is your favorite? Before I was on YouTube, I used Viveport for years and absolutely loved it. Obviously, I love my Flat to VR mods, and every once in a while, SideQuest comes in clutch.
And that was today's video, brought to you by my dad, Mateo311. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here,
Consider subscribing.
consider
Consider subscribing.
consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
Consider subscribing.
We'll see you guys on next time.
We'll see you guys on next time.